Hey, when you decided to leave them, what was that last thing that happened that made
I had been getting some offhanded energy from my friends for months. They wouldn't watch my TikToks. They wouldn't comment on anything that I was completing or doing or working on. And it seemed like anytime they wanted to talk to me, it was just to complain about their lives and to get validation for their victimhood. And they didn't seem to be happy for me. They didn't seem to be interested in what I was doing. But I stayed the course and I met somebody really amazing. And he was so nice and so kind. He finally gave me the love that I had never gotten in a relationship, that they had never shown to me, that they definitely were not getting in their relationships. And they were oddly weird about it. They weren't happy for me. They were very quiet about it. But nevertheless, I invited them and their significant others over to my house for Easter. And my new partner and I created this whole Easter brunch. We had champagne, we had pretty champagne glasses and juice. He smoked a ham on the Traeger. We decorated the whole house. We invited their children over. We wanted to provide like this really amazing Easter brunch for our friends. And they came over and they were very nonchalant to him. They were not kind to him. And I must add that I had just come out of a really bad relationship where I was really mistreated. They treated him great. But when I finally met a good guy, they were weirdly quiet around him and not kind. They just weren't interested in meeting him or getting to know him. And I had made it very clear that he was an important person in my life. I ended up marrying him, but they didn't have any interest in really getting to know him. And while they were at my house, they ignored me. They talked amongst each other and had a lot of rabble rousing and great moments with people in my life that I invited to the event, but I more invited out of being considerate and of some family dynamics that I don't really need to get into, but I invited them to like extend the olive branch and include them in a day with their children. And they were all over him. They were all over that one person that they knew I was kind of on the outs with and that my partner felt uncomfortable around, but my partner was being the bigger person by letting this person come into his home and enjoy the festivities of the day that we were putting on. And they were all around him, giving him all of this clout and attention, completely ignoring my partner. And even then, I sat at the table and tried to talk to them and tried to make them feel welcome in my home after their child spilled wine all over my rug. My partner and I were cleaning it, trying to make them feel comfortable. And as they were doting and hanging all over this family member that we both felt uncomfortable around, I just decided to be myself and talk to them and be the life of the party and have conversation with them and catch up with my friends who I had invited to my home for this day. And as I spoke and tried to talk to them and build them up and tell them I wanted to plan a bachelorette party for one of them who was newly engaged, and I was like propping up my friends and being like the kind person that I am, they were all looking at each other and trying not to make eye contact with me and trying not to be involved in the conversation that I was trying to have with them. And it was that feeling you get when you walk up to a group of people and you know they've been talking about you. They have an ashamed look, they have an ashamed aura about them because they all know they've been talking shit about you behind your back. And they're sitting in your house at your table, eating the food that you provided for them, drinking the champagne you provided for them, and you are giving them love. You are showing them love and support as you've always done. And they feel ashamed and embarrassed knowing that they're not only sitting at your table imbibing on all of the things you've provided for them, but they have all talked about you behind your back. And they're all in on a secret that they've all discussed you in your life and disparaged you behind your back. And they feel guilty about it. And they can't engage in the conversation with you and they can't be friends to you because it'll rat them out to each other. They'll have to show their two-facedness. They'll have to show their two-facedness to each other and their lack of loyalty to you. And so they're embarrassed. And also, they're having this underhanded, she thinks she's all that, but we all know because we've talked about her behind her back before we came over here. And, you know, she's not all that. And we're showing her that right now in her own home, sitting at her table. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. They left my house, barely acknowledging me, barely saying thank you. They left. And then the next day, a couple days had gone by, they tried to act like everything was fine and call me up and act like everything was great with us and ignore what the disrespect that had just happened. And that was the final straw where I said, enough is enough. I'm done with friends that can't be happy for me. I'm done with friends that can't acknowledge the things that I'm creating and the good things that are happening to me, that are in secret competition with me, that are talking about me behind my back, that have the audacity to come to my home and sit at my table and eat my food and pretend they're friends with me and build up and prop up somebody in my life that they know that I'm uncomfortable around, just to show me whose side they're on, just to show me they don't have my back. And they do this all in my own home. And then they don't even have the audacity to acknowledge what they did, to own up to what they did, and they want to just skirt and pretend like everything's fine. No, I'm done with those friendships, and I never looked back.